Well, this is a ham radio channel, but I was recently asked to do a video on the air fryer, and I thought, well, perhaps the ham radio enthusiasts might also be interested in the air fryer. What is an air fryer? Well, an air fryer is a very popular device for cooking food economically and very quickly. It's about 50% cheaper to cook in an air fryer than it is in a conventional oven, and it's also 50% quicker, which is good news. But an air fryer is basically a very simple device. I mean, there's a lot of different models on the market. This particular one is the tower model, but there's lots of models on the market, but they all work on the same principle. Inside the air fryer is an element, or in this case there are two elements because you've got two drawers. But inside there is an element, and above the element is a fan. The element gets hot, the fan blows hot air on the food, and the food cooks. Now, inside this particular one, and most of them, is like a perforated grill. And the idea is you get a sort of a vortex, so the hot air whistles around the food, not just on the top. Net result is the food is cooked, and also a byproduct is you get a nice crust on the top, or a nice sort of, a brown surface. If you're cooking chips, of course you get the chips, they brown as you would normally do from the chip shop, and if you've got some potato on the top or other topping, it tends to brown it. And with jacket potatoes, I wouldn't recommend you cook jacket potatoes in an air fryer. Takes too long. What you can do is you can put your jacket potato in the microwave, takes about 4 or 5 minutes, pop it into the air fryer, and you then get a nice crusty jacket potato. Great to eat. So how easy is an air fryer to operate? Well, basically it's very simple. On this particular one, you've got two containers. So on one side you've got the on-off button for this container and the on-off button side for this container. On the top here you've got temperature and time controls, and below you've got a whole range of presets. Well, these presets are nothing particularly clever, they're not rocket science. All they are is for meat or for chips or for fish or for cakes. You press the appropriate button and it gives you a recommended temperature and time. But there's nothing magical about that. That button for cakes doesn't know it's cooking cakes. All it knows is that it's got to set a particular temperature and time. So whilst these are fairly ballpark figures, the figure that you actually use will probably be determined partly by experience and partly by whoever publishes a particular recipe. So let's have a quick peek inside so that you can see what is inside. In fact, there's nothing much inside at all, as I explained. But anyway, let's take a peek inside and you can see. Now, you can see there the element at the top. You can't actually see the fan, but there is a fan at the top. And there's nothing much else. The air blows around the food and it does the cooking. Now, one thing I would recommend is that you purchase some silicone containers to go inside, because you can't really put, well, you can put food and put chips on there, but it's really and truly is intended to circulate the air. So basically get yourself some silicone containers, put them in there, and that will cook and leave the actual outer side pretty clean. The other thing you must do is you must get yourself some heating tongs, because these get very hot, and when you're trying to get a silicone container out, you can't do it without your fingers your hands touching this hot surface and you'll get some nasty burns. So get yourself some silicone containers that drop in there, measure your container, make sure they're the right size, get yourself some silicone tongs, and whilst you're about it, might be a good idea to get one of these food temperature indicators so that you can check the temperature of the food. So really and truly, an air fryer is a very useful device. It's not rocket science, but it does a job, and it does a job very, very well. It's economical and it's quick. That is the air fryer.